Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Fable, my dark fairy tale island, and I am almost finished this island, which is so incredibly exciting. This is what the map is looking like right now, but there are quite a few just small little areas around the island that either were like little filler areas that on the edge of builds I didn't get around to filling out, or a couple of them that we're going to be doing today are beaches. Editing Taya here. We're going to be doing something a little bit different on today's video. I'm not going to be adding any background music. Let me know if you like it. I kind of like it. I find sometimes a little background music is a little bit distracting, so I'm going to remove it a la podcast style, but let me know if you like it, if you hate it. Then I'll add music back in next time. See you at the end. If you missed the last update on this island, I actually did all of the beaches on the right-hand side in one sitting. And this is going to be a little bit different because I actually, in this recording, had not done that. I feel like, I don't know why I separated these recordings. The beaches felt like its own thing. The beaches felt like a separate entity from all of the other details that I needed to do on this island, even though some of these detail areas were beaches. Like, tell me how this makes sense. I do not know. But the beaches were one that was not yet finished at this point, and then there was just other areas scattered throughout the island, including the Black Forest, the dark forest on my island, which was just meant to be this mysterious walkway area of really establishing. It's like an establishing shot in a movie where it's just generalized forest, no build, just like through and through setting the scene, which is an area on the island that I did leave for last, which is funny. But other than that, it's just finishing up little areas around my island that I need to do. I am starting here with the entrance, which, like, why didn't I fill in this little third level of terraforming? I have no idea. I just left it undone until now. And when I was planning to record this video, I really didn't know exactly the areas that needed to be touched up. I just had a general idea of like, oh yeah, little places around the entrance need to be cleaned up. Like, there are some little tiny beaches that I've left undone for whatever reason, or details that are slightly off camera, but if you tilt the camera in a certain way, you can see them. These are the details that it's like, is it annoying to put them into a video? By that point in doing any build, I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm a little like over it. Like, let's just finish with the build and not do the final details. But then I'm left with all these little spaces in the end that haven't quite been finished off. So that's what we're doing today. And I am just going to be my chatty Cathy kind of self. I did write down like a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. I guess I've just been super introspective lately and wanting to do these long chatty videos, and I know that you guys like them, so I am down for it. I really appreciate everybody's comments on the last video. My brain has been an absolute soup of mess lately, so I do apologize for not quite responding to every single comment, but I do read every single one, and I'm so appreciative for everybody's feedback on what we were discussing last week. And I do have more thoughts on hacking my Kindle. Haven't quite done it yet, but I do appreciate everybody's feedback. It was really cool to see. Let's go, physical media, rise up. But anyways, I had to go to the doctor because my heart started hurting. I think I was talking about that only on a Goldie stream, but I did go to the doctor, got it checked out. Turns out, funny enough, it's stress. So I kind of find that, like, I've gone to the doctor several times with like heart palpitations, and they're like, yeah, it's just stress. And I'm like, that's not okay. Then like refer me to a therapist. I don't know. Like, I think I have to advocate. I know that I have to advocate for that for myself. And I also know that there are tools at my disposal for free that I just don't use, like journaling. And when I was journaling more consistently, like the stress was a lot easier to manage. And what I mean by like just saying the stress, just the stress of daily life. Like, and I think I have to own the fact that I have kind of a, oh God, this sounds so stupid to say, of a delicate nervous system. Like, I don't know. It's true though, and like I do have a delicate nervous system. Do I absolutely hate that that's the case? Yes, I do. So I guess my doctor telling me that like my heart hurts because of stress is helpful. Okay, it's 10% helpful. It did help me to just like own the fact that that is what is throwing me off in life. I think it's easy to discount stress as a factor because it's so amorphous and it can mean so many things to different people. Everybody deals with stress differently. So just saying it's stress or like this is a stress response should kind of be a wake up call. But for me, it feels more like, so what do I do about that? Like, I don't know what to do, but I'm just living my life and I don't know how to analyze myself critically at a distance to say, hey, what you did right there was a stress response. I just do it. And then I suffer the consequences. Hey, my heart hurts. This does actually lead into my next topic, which is the difference between abundant self-care and scarce self-care. But real quick on the build, I'm going right now into what will be the dark forest area. And this area is one that I kind of return back to frequently during today's video. I'll go away from this area and work on a little spot and then I'll come back. And once I get the trees in place, I pretty much stay in this area continuously. But for right now, I feel overwhelmed by this area. In this moment that I was recording this, I felt very overwhelmed by the amount of space and how detailed I really wanted this whole forest to feel. So I'm just placing some items in and then running out and working on other spots on my island. I did end up going to a treasure island, which was all crafted things, mostly just because I needed literally more vines and glowing moss. That was pretty much it. I did gather, of course, some other things like log stakes are kind of a sleeper hit on this island, to be honest. So I did grab some more of those, and I can never have enough leaf piles and freaking wheat fields. So wheat fields and leaf piles are like the two critical items for this island. We just passed like 1,700 of them in this flyover alone. It would be really funny to know. I wish that there was some kind of like readout of how many items, like what's your top 7 items on an island. That would be really funny. Anyways, back to self-care while little Taya deals with all the items that I gathered on that treasure island. And we will be going to, I think, a couple more treasure islands during the course of this video. Past Taya should have put a little bit more context towards what I meant by scarcity mindset and abundance mindset when it relates to self-care, but I honestly think that it's just a mentality. So when you're going to do self-care, do you have this like scarcity of time? Like, oh, my self-care has to fit into this little box, or even a scarcity of like resources. If you were to make an actual budget, which considered self-care or considered beauty products that make you feel good about yourself, or even like getting your nails done every quarter or something like that, that like boosts your self-esteem and gives you a moment to really like love yourself a little bit, just in a maybe in a superficial way, but you know those items that go deeper than superficial, and you know when you've spent a little bit of money towards something that actually matters for you. I'm not saying, I actually think that it's kind of a scarce mindset to just overspend on things too. Like overconsumption is a problem, period, in the world right now. So I'm not advocating for that. In the same way that hoarding is kind of a scarce mindset because you're thinking like, I need to keep that. I need to hold on to everything that crosses my path. Otherwise it's going to be gone forever. It kind of becomes a scarcity in its own right, if that makes any sense at all. I hope it does. If there's a haircut that you love, that you don't know how to execute on your own, and you always cut your own hair, this is me core right now. Like, I always cut my own hair, and that is kind of limiting, even though I enjoy cutting my own hair. But there are some hairstyles that I would like to try out in the future that I know is going to require me going into a hair salon and me just being able to accept, okay, I want to give myself like oh my God, like this is making me emotional. I want to go to a hair salon and get my hair professionally colored in a way that I know is healthy for my hair, which is something that I will not be able to do on my own with a box dye. That's just inherently going to damage my hair more, and I'm getting older, so I can't really afford to like strip my hair with bleach or like even doing a demi-permanent dye, it's like it's still a certain amount is hard on the hair. So just being able to own or like even think about doing that for myself means, okay, I have to budget that out because like money doesn't grow on trees. Like I would want to have an intention behind that that is like, this is the amount that I'm willing to spend, and like this is the month that I want to do it in, and all of that. Even just having that amount of intentionality towards something like a haircut already makes it a more abundant feeling because you've like claimed it as something that you want, and that's something that you're willing to spend a little bit of time and money on, like that you're worth it. And even if I don't have the resources right now to execute that, or that it's realistic at this very moment, just saying that it's something that's important to you in the future, that you're willing to budget for, and that you're excited about in the future. It's like a Christmas gift that you ask your parents for and you don't know whether you're going to get it or not. And then when you do get it, you're excited, but you do that for yourself. You heal your inner child with that shit. If I were to just be like, well, I'll look up a bunch of tutorials and then I'll go get a box dye and like maybe I'll fuck up my whole head. And if you have that creativity and it's something that actually brings you joy as a creative pursuit to cut your own hair, which for me for a long time it has been. So not definitely not knocking people who cut their own hair. Like you do you, girl. I love that vibe. But there are certain things that I know my limits on, and if I tried to push my own skills outside of what I know, that I would end up like botching my hair, and I don't need to think scarcely about it. Wouldn't that be nice? And like literally it makes me emotional. Wouldn't that be nice to be able to do that for myself? Maybe this is just a greater exercise in being patient and allowing things to take time, allowing certain things that you want in your life to be things that you save up for. And I feel right now it's like if you don't buy that bag that's popular at this exact moment and trending on Pinterest, that you will be out in a season. And there in reality are so few things that actually hold true to that dynamic, especially if you're trying to heal your inner child, especially if you're trying to look at things that were important to you when you were a kid that have always felt important to you, for example. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't go out of fashion. And if something is going to go out of fashion in like a couple of months, then why are we spending money on it? Why are we just feeding into consumption? Everything that's old becomes new again. Just be a little bit more intentional with what you buy. Like, I'm not trying to freaking be revolutionary. I'm trying to like convince myself lately that I'm not just on this like nostalgia hope core nonsense. Like I'm truly trying to reconnect with what was important to me when I was a kid. What did I like when I was a kid? I liked dolls. I liked really cute cartoon movies. I mean, what child doesn't like cartoon movies? But like, I liked being creative. I liked playing house with my sisters. I liked playing outside and using my imagination in play. And even just the fact that I'm playing Animal Crossing kind of combines a lot of the elements of what I loved when I was 13 or 8 years old and heals a lot of my inner child, to be honest. I really didn't mean for this topic to go so serious so fast, but I do think it's important to look at what you wanted as a child and where you are now, etc., etc. Moving on. I have been jumping all over the place, but we're finally at the point where I went and got a bunch of trees to add into the dark forest. Different levels of growth on these trees, so I am stunting them with apples, and it is a bit of a process. When you're introducing and you want to introduce a bunch of trees into an area, it's like you'll plant some duds and then have to pick them up again and like rearrange them. So that is what I'm working on now, and I just wanted to layer in. I did get a lot of bamboo trees at one point and put them in. Most of them are stunted, which I kind of like the vibe of there being a bunch of different kinds of heights of not just like cedars and hardwood trees, but everything. And I did get a bunch of shrubs also. And if you notice in my pockets right now, I don't have any glowing moss or vines. So I'm just, or weeds at all. I'm keeping it very like I want to get the bulk of the big stuff in here. All of the tall trees and all of the stuff that's less colorful, less magical feeling, just building out the bulk of the forest. Without hiding too much of the path either, which is kind of the trade-off, because if I added a bunch of tall trees, it would hide the path, make it a little bit less visible, and you probably end up running over a lot of flowers. Maybe if this was a more vertical build, I could add even more tall trees so that you're walking through a vertical forest, but I do have an area like that kind of north of this area too, so it's just leading into that. So I didn't want to cover the path, even though some of the path does get a little bit hidden by the trees, which I think is cute. A lot of the things that I have written down that I wanted to talk about today are so serious in retrospect. I'm looking through my notes and I'm like, damn, girl, I guess that's what you want to talk about. Getting, what is it? Getting pissed about my Christianity religious iconography. Really? You want to go down this rabbit hole today? That's what you want? I mean, that is what I want to talk about. But is it the most pleasant thing to talk about? Absolutely not. It's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about. And I'm going to sound mad. And I don't want to sound mad. I don't want to put out that energy of like just being this pissed off person. But hey, there's a reason and a season for everything. And I feel like if I am having an era where I'm extra pissed off about some stuff, it's like it matters to me. It matters to me. And maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe not everybody wants to hear a 39-year-old complain about the things that she doesn't like in her life. But maybe you can find some solace in the fact that like we all have shit that just like gets under our skin and bothers us, and like it's not the end of the world to talk about it. Hey, not everything needs to be hope core positivity, and like you can still find positive things only after you actually admit what your feelings are truly. I honestly, that's something that I never thought about for myself. I always thought I could be positive and it was just about kind of like ignoring the things that I didn't want to think about and putting them to the side. Even thinking about a lot of the shame that I have around my previous Christianity and how pissed off I get with myself thinking, oh, you were the person who believed that. You were the person who like went along and was honestly hateful to people that I didn't understand. And that is such a painful, shameful realization. But just allowing myself to be emotional about that or feel into that part of who I was allows me to claim it back and to say, hey, that's not actually who I am now. I don't feel the same way that I felt then. And that's not who I want to be for the rest of my life. And that's okay. Oh my God. So when I'm recording these voiceovers, I like to have Pinterest open with my like positivity quotes. And sometimes one will just hit right on the head for me because, of course, it's something that I pinned as I've been thinking about this kind of stuff. But this is kind of an old one. It says, it's only heavy because you're deciding over and over again to carry it. Embrace change. Loosen up your sense of identity. Let yourself walk a new path. You do not have to ignore or erase the past. You just have to wholeheartedly embrace the present and move on. So I think I need to break that down a little bit for myself. Like these ideas that okay, here's a perfect one that is so nonsensical, like a little bit of a light moment here of just collecting stuffed animals and calico critters, which this is calico critters. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. More on that later. I do have a note to talk about calico critters specifically, but if I were to say, oh, adults don't have stuffed animals, adults don't collect cute little dolls, that's kids stuff, like let that go, you need to grow up. If I were to put that on myself, then I'm like not even loosening myself up at all to like a heaviness will follow me if I put these kind of strict boundaries on what is allowed or what is not allowed, or carrying some shame a la Christianity that is not helping me to move forward or connect with more people in my present day. And in that way, I think that there are some things that if you hold on to them and you make them your entire identity. And Christianity is one of those things, like, as a people pleaser, I just wanted to like do the right thing and be the right person and always make sure that I checked off every good girl box. Sounds so stupid, but unlearning that and being like, I'm allowed to be whoever I need to be and feel whatever I need to feel, on the note again of being like kind of angry lately or venting, ranting all the time. On a more practical note, I've been finding recently that by the time I get to about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my energy level depletes vastly, and I have to do something physical with my body. Like, I have to go and organize something, I have to go and like clean something. I can't be just sitting in this chair for too long. Otherwise, my anxiety is just kind of like taking the wheel and driving me to mental places that I don't really love. So, in the spirit of that quote from Pinterest, how can I choose to not carry this feeling over and over again? How can I embrace change and loosen up on my sense of identity? Like, okay, I know myself that I am better in the morning. I'm a morning person. So recently I have been just saying, okay, at 1 or 2, when I tap out, it's time to tap out. It's time to go do something else. That's totally fine. Is it very sustainable going forward? Maybe not. I do feel like, again, I always say, I don't feel Animal Crossing burnt out. I feel life burnt out right now. So I probably will be planning I definitely will be planning some time off very shortly. And I feel the need to take that time off approaching at me like a train. And I think it's probably going to happen sooner than I would like. But my ideal situation would be that we get a start on the new island, and there's like new island excitement and energy that kind of like allows me to have fun with a new island off camera for a little bit. Maybe I will get the island to a point where I'm ready to start decorating and then bring it back online when I come back from a little break, so that there's something that we're all excited for, that we're looking forward to, something that I can, busy myself with in times where I need a little break from whatever's going on in the future. I think that that would be good. I think that that would be a healthy place to leave it in. So, and then maybe I can just fill you in with short content, which is part of the reason why I did want to do more long form content in this moment, because I will be having a little bit of a break in the near future here. So instead of fully just effing off for the rest of the day and resting and doing physical things that need to be done, I am just going to take a break. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to make myself something nice to eat. And then I will be back a little bit later after I have taken care of myself, because I was literally just talking about self-care. And how am I going to talk about self-care and then be like, and I feel like shit, but I'm going to power through? Like, makes no sense. So I'll be right back, probably feeling immensely refreshed. I am back. Do I feel refreshed from the shower? Yes, I feel quite refreshed. Mentally, I'm still on about 50%. I don't know how much more gas I got left in the tank, but I did take a good solid hour to shower, and then I ended up organizing a little, like, I have a little rolly cart, crafting cart thing in my office where I just kept basically like my nail supplies, and I just organized it so it looks a lot more nice. It looks a lot more well put together. Did I eat a healthy meal? No, I just ate some hummus, so now my breath smells very garlicky, which kind of is more annoying than it is nutritional. Where were we? Oh yes, calico critters. I'm obsessed with them. My favorite thing about calico critters is the memes, I'm not gonna lie. When I see things like baby want cake and when you and your circle lock in, that's the kind of joy that is very infrequently recreated in my childhood brain. Also, when I see things like this, a whole bunch of school supplies that you can print off and make into little props for your dollhouses. Dollhouses have always been a part of my own personal love, and it is actually something that I lost when I became like super Christian. And I know that there are levels of Christianity where people live perfectly healthy lives throughout their whole lives and, community, blah, 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 all of that. I totally get it. For me, it went very quickly to fundamental, incredibly strict, regimented vibes. And so everything dollhouse related, I even had a dollhouse that was a magnetic key house from when I was a kid that I got rid of because I was getting rid of a lot of things that now are sentimental things that I would love to have. They're gone forever. Like I threw them out. I just did a quick Google to find an image of this Fisher Price dollhouse that I had that I think I gave to like Value Village or something like that. I found it on Etsy for $300. So oh, really, truly, it's not the money part that makes me upset that I got rid of this. I hope you realize that, but just knowing that that's what it would cost to get it back if I wanted to relive that nostalgia is kind of painful. I threw out a lot of things that now I would love to have back. And one thing that I am reclaiming from that is dollhouses. And this is something that even just saying that I love them is like I feel my little childhood Taya being like, yes, I love dollhouses. I can see this little Scrabble set, which Scrabble is also a big part of my family. My grandma loved playing Scrabble. And I see this little Scrabble dollhouse set that you can print out, and it just heals like such a deep part of my soul. But some of this is free printables, and some of it's stuff that I can craft on my own as well to make for these Sylvanian family or Calico Critter. It's the same company, but it's just one is the Japanese brand, one is the American. And I am obsessed with them. I think they're so freaking cute. I love the little memes. I love the little videos that people put up. But just in general, dollhouses are so stinking cute and wholesome. And I don't care if somebody were to come into my home in the future and say, oh my God, this girl is crazy. Because if I went into somebody's house and they had a hobby that they really loved that they have been collecting for years, that would only endear them to me more. Why can't I accept it in myself? Man, I can't talk about a single thing without making it intense. I'm just, maybe it is Pisces a little in there that's making me go deep on every single topic out there. But look at this. Look at this little tea set. This adorable, is this made with clay? Oh my God, it's made with clay. See, I love dollhouses. I love the culture surrounding dollhouses and dolls and making little things for them, setting them up in little imaginary scenarios. It's so cute to me. I can't stop. It's adorable. It's kind of like I enjoy decorating my own home and I love shopping for things in my home or going vintage shopping and going to little thrift stores and finding unique elements to bring into my home. But there's only so many times I can go thrift shopping. Thrift shopping? Thrift shopping. Oh my gosh. There's only so many times I can go thrift shopping. I need a glass of water. That's what's happening right now. Let's try that again. There's only so many times I can go thrift shopping without filling up my home entirely and having no more room to put anything. So I can collect small versions of the things that I want and decorate miniature rooms, and then I can fill them with adorable freaking animal critters. They're so cute. Look into the eyes of this squirrel and tell me that it's not the cutest freaking squirrel. I think it's actually technically a chipmunk. Look into the eyes of this chipmunk. And since I've been thinking about home decor quite a bit, I also made a little mock-up of a future living room setup that I would like to do. And it's very grandma core. I'm not sure if also, I just heard the other day that saying core is outdated. Hey, that's stupid. I don't know. I think the Animal Crossing community has just always clung on to it. I don't think it ever went out of fashion for the Animal Crossing community to say core, but it is funny that I was watching a podcast the other day and they were like, I'm sorry that I said core. That's so 2020. And I was like, what the heck? I didn't know that. Oh boy. Anyways, back to grandma core. Or you could say cottagecore. You could say foresty, cozy, but I like the idea that I want to decorate my space like a grandma would decorate their space. Decorative plates and all. What was it about decorative plates that just had the 1950s woman in a chokehold? And decorative commemorative spoons. My Oma had a commemorative spoon collection. That's crazy. But also, I love that. And yeah, my calico critters are probably going to give the exact same energy. Back to my mock-up. In this mock-up, most of the things that I've used are things that I already have. Only the chair, that big comfy red gingham chair, is something I don't have. But I do have a futon chair that I could reupholster in a gingham fabric, and I think it would look adorable. And it also has an ottoman. And I think if I were to do like kind of a ruffled fringe on the bottom, it would give a very similar energy. I also don't want to make it look too like I'm trying to be grandma core. It's just my things. Ultimately, I want it to feel like my home, nostalgic, lots of family photos on the wall, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? This is my new era. I have seen a couple images of people doing the grandma core aesthetic in their home, and it just looks like they went to a thrift store and bought 1,000 little tchotchkes and threw them all over their wall in a collage, and then threw a bunch of like wicker elements and stacked aprons everywhere. That's not really the energy that I want. I want it to feel like my own grandma's house kind of thing. Before she lost her sense of smell and everything was downhill from there. That terrifies me. I don't know why losing my sense of smell and like being a stinky person is like, I think it's maybe because I saw, this sounds so bad. I love my grandma, but I did see her like kind of let go of the things that, you know, gave her a lot of pride in her younger years. Like, she would put on perfume, she would put on a nice outfit and like clean herself up real nice and go to church and all that. And I do remember that part very, very fondly. And I remember when I went over and she was just like in an apron that was covered in stains. And I was like, oh, damn, this is kind of sad. Anyways, that's depressing. I'm so sorry. I can't even take, okay, my God. Alternate title for this video: constantly in an existential state of dread. Playing Animal Crossing to avoid a constant state of existential dread. Play Animal Crossing with me to avoid my inevitable decline into a rotting corpse. What? Ew, Teo, what the hell? Let's skate right past that topic. Look at this calico critter. Just look at the beauty of this baby. I want them all. I want so many of them. It's going to be a problem, and it's a problem that I'm very excited to have in the future. And we do need to take a moment, or maybe even more than a moment, to just discuss the next island that we're going to be doing on this channel, which I still do not have a final name for. I did all of that planning, and then I kind of like put it to the side to finish Fable. That's been my main priority right now. But I do want to think about it a little bit more, just so that we have like kind of a plan more in place before we restart. I think my top pick for names is Onigiri, because I think Onigiri is so cute and it would make such a cute little mascot for the island. The branding would be adorable with those little triangles of rice. I would also love to just learn how to make onigiri, and I've seen a lot of recipes on Pinterest for it with just like tuna, spicy tuna onigiri, and I would love to learn how to make it because it does not look overly difficult. It's basically like making a tuna sandwich, but instead of tuna you have, or instead of bread, you have rice. I think it would make for a very cute mascot. I also think like a little panda guy would be a very cute mascot for the island as well. I don't know. I have to look back through that video that I made planning out the island because y'all had such good recommendations for freaking island names in the comments that I really have to go through. I know Sophie had some bangers, but Bamboop is very cute, and that is the working title right now. So I'm very excited to restart and do Bamboop. For Sisterly Villager, I'm really wanting to get Faith, which is funny because I've actually never had a koala on an island, but she's the only Sisterly that truly has that tropical vibe. I lie, I did have Gonzo on an island for a while, but he didn't stay on the island. And then for a Jock Villager, I can't remember what Jock Villager I set aside. Oh, Bud. Bud is very cute. And I think I had another one too. Let me just get the file open so that I can actually speak to this instead of just guessing. I actually have 3 options for jock villagers. That's the most options of any personality that I have on this list. I have Simon, Flip, or Bud. Those are the 3 jock villagers that I have in mind. So it's kind of good that I have more jock villager options. It's very rare that I would actually be able to find like the villagers that I want as I'm restarting the island. That's not my priority. I would like to learn how to make little amiibos. Really, I just need to buy the amiibo things from Amazon. Should I just add that to my cart right now? I've been adding small things to my Amazon cart right now to hit that $30 for free shipping. Right now, I have a wide tooth comb to help protect my sensitive little curls because apparently they can't be brushed with anything too intense. Really trying to look after the health of my hair lately. Okay, added to cart.
50-piece NFC tags. N-tag 215 NFC cards, blank NFC stickers, NFC tags programmable white, NFC tags sticker compatible with, Tagmo and Amiibo with adhesive for easy fixing 25mm identification badges.
Make your title longer. Tag optimization really ruined product names, didn't it? How would I rename this product so that it was simple and effective and punchy? 50 pieces. Oh, never. You know what? This is so high. I just got over it in 2 seconds. Hey, I don't care anymore. But they've been added to cart so I can get them. Speaking of buying things, I bought new body butter yesterday and it smells like it's coconut mango and I smell literally like candy and it's so soft. I was getting this body butter from Costco that was like, it was like a knockoff or supposed to be a knockoff of the Brazilian body butter by Rio de Sol. Rio de Sol, I think is the brand name. It's nothing like it. The packaging is the most similar thing to it because real body butter actually has the consistency of butter. It's thick and like you need very, very little and it spreads really nicely. This knockoff one from Costco is not a legitimate body butter. It's just a moisturizer in a pot. That's it. I did like it for a while and it is less expensive, of course, than the Rio de Sol one. But this one that I got from Marshall's, the consistency is perfect. And I found a lot of body butters actually at Marshall's. And the ones that I got were like, it's 100 ml and it was like $10 or something like that, which is really good for a nice body moisturizer. Anyways, as much as I do love a good villager hunting live stream, when I'm not in the mood to villager hunt or when I'm having a hard time kicking out the villager that I actually want to kick out, I would love to have an alternative option. I'm also just really curious about making my own amiibos, and it looks like a relatively easy process. You just use your phone and you can create amiibos for any villager that you want, and I assume that you can use amiibos for other games too, like Legend of Zelda and all of that. I think the thing that I'm the most excited for with this new island is just the color palette, which is always a good sign. When the color palette is already giving me life, making me feel excited, I know it's going to be a good time. And I also just love my mood boards for this island. I even worked on a couple of mood boards more since showing you guys the whole process of this island. I took a bunch of screenshots from around American Village in Okinawa, Japan. I took signage screenshots from around the entire area, different signs. And then I took a bunch of screenshots of all the different flooring, like every different road or pattern that was on the ground, I took a screenshot of as well. And in the actual American Village, there are a lot of different kinds of pathing. Pathing. Can you imagine just like walking around a city and be like, this pathing is so interesting. I wonder if this is a custom design or in-game path. What would the in-game path of your neighborhood look like? And what are the custom designs? I think that a lot of these paths can actually be created with in-game pathing. Like the terracotta path, I think, would be perfect for this island, as well as the arched tile path. So I'm definitely going to be mixing and matching a lot of different kinds of pathing, which makes me so excited. It's so chaotic and so like tropical feeling that I don't think I've truly had an island be this eclectic, which is kind of my vibe. I like it. Give me the tropical vibes. Give me the summer energy. Should I maybe discuss the island that we're actually working on right now? I'm so sorry. Fable, I'm sorry. The last video that I do of like actually building on Fable, the whole time I'm just talking about my existential crises, doll houses, and the next island that I'm going to be working on. But ultimately, these areas that I'm working on Fable are generally so small. Like you saw that I worked on that one little lookout, and now I'm filling in this tiny little area that has always kind of bothered me on the flyover because this is the first spot that the flyover shows, but it's just a little clump of trees. So I just wanted to fill in every little space because when you see it from above, it makes a big difference to be able to see that all filled in because you see it a lot more top down in the flyover. And Fable, honestly, I think is one of my favorite islands that I've ever made. Alexandria was one of my favorite islands that I had ever made, and it held the top spot for a long time until Sawaru came, and I was like, Sawaru is absolutely my favorite island that I've ever done. But this island is probably a close one. It might even be tied for first. I would love to make a video ranking all the islands, but it kind of feels like, I don't have any kids, but it feels like the equivalent of ranking your children. I mean, there are obvious forerunners like Alexandria and Sawaru and Fable, but there are some ones that I would not care to go back to. As much as I did salvage Mount Rigi from the wreckage that was me trying to do a winter island when that's not my vibe at all, I am happy with how it turned out. I would not recreate an island like that in the future. I would not try that theme again. I wouldn't recommend that theme to anybody. Whereas like these themes, desert, medieval, it's surprising how many items are there for you in the Animal Crossing catalog. Like desert island, there's actually so much that you can do with that. There's so many items that fit perfectly with that theme. And medieval, something that's medieval or fantastical and cottagey and foresty, there's so many items for it, which just makes it so easy. As well as Japanese islands, like there's so much, of course, Nintendo, Japan, it makes sense. But I am excited to work on another island that has a more Japanese flair, a more tropical Japanese kind of energy, because there are just so many items that just work perfectly with those kind of themes. And you can see that I'm angling the camera a little bit to show that area that I was working on. And there are still some gaps, but I do fill those in a little bit. I placed an apple down here on this bench. I think it's so cute. Just like adding a little extra thing into an area is just adorable. One thing that I don't show in this build is I did create a little vegetable stand right at the front of my island. I don't know where that footage went. I feel like I did record it, but it just evaporated. I downloaded a bunch of like vegetable designs in these little packages. So I will run past the entrance at one point and you see that there is a vegetable stand magically there between the two recordings that I did on this island. This was 5 hours of footage. Also, it was a lot of footage to cut down, and I did skip out a few little areas, but I did want to just show how much little details I left behind on the island and how much time it truly took me to finish up all of these little things. Even when I thought that I was like 90% done the island, 99% done the island, there was still a lot of little extra things, little details. A lot of them maybe were not necessary, like me dropping little mushrooms everywhere or dropping an apple there, but it just adds so much more depth to this island, and I really wanted this island to feel as much depth as possible. Layer more. And I think it is islands like this that have more detail in them, and smaller builds is what I'm realizing really makes an island feel lived in and cozy. There's so much more depth to an island when I've added a bunch of little details and a bunch of smaller builds than if I've done an island that has maybe 7 large builds on it. There's just so much more detail to be had when you're scattering in little things and adding little Easter eggs here and there. And it's just so cute. I freaking love Animal Crossing. Even this area, for example, could have left it exactly like that, but it was bothering me that there was nothing vertical along this area. There was nothing really of interest to have variety down along this path. I added a tiny little medium young hardwood tree, and it just added so much more interest. Also, the pink flower there on the left beside the bridge was bothering me, so I do end up removing it because I put pink flowers onto the lookout that looks out to the castle because the castle has pink in it. That one beside the carriage area doesn't actually make any sense at all. And I added another tree here. Make it feel more deep, more foresty. We love to see it. I think too, these are the kind of details that you can only really add at the end after you've lived with the island for a little bit, after you've like explored it fully and really get the island. Once you really get to know your island and you can like feel its vibe, then you can like understand what the island needs from you. If you don't understand what the island needs from you, how are you gonna provide the island what it needs? I feel like I have like a Pocahontas moment. Like, I know every rock and tree and has a life, has a purpose, has a name. I love that movie. But I feel like it's so true though. When you really know an island inside and out, you can think of it in a different way that you can't if you're just getting on to play it for 5 minutes and then checking out. Like, I will say my last island before this of Chibi Moon, I think I fell into that rut of only playing when I was going to be decorating. And I think that that's a sign of me not enjoying the island as much as I should, as much as I could, let's say that. Because there are some island themes that feel very exciting on paper and in the planning stage, but then when I actually go to create them, they feel hollow. I think it has something to do with the pathing. I feel I'm learning that I don't like as rigid pathing on my island. That's why like foresty themes or more organic themes are tending to be more what I like. But maybe learning that about myself is an opportunity for me to push outside of my boundaries as well. And I feel like with American Village Island, with more of the tropical Japanese, I'm gonna want to have roads. I'm gonna want to have roads and a lot of different kinds of pathing and city energy in a lot of places. So that will be something for me to overcome. And we were talking about it the other day on stream because someone asked, what are some good filler builds for a city core kind of energy, like a city island? What would you do as a filler build? The only thing that came to my mind was just to make small shops or like stands, like a newspaper stand or a coffee stand, that kind of thing. But what other kind of areas are there in cities that are more filler builds? Maybe I need to take another stroll through American Village to see like what are the filler areas. Parking lots, I feel like is a really good one actually. And I was watching somebody's video the other day where they were working on an island that was more Japanese inspired. And they were like, hey, there's going to be a lot of parking lots on this island. And I was like, I love that. I love just being like, I'm claiming it now. In a forest island, you would just put a clump of trees together and be like, it's a forest. What do you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I've done on this island. Whereas if it's on a city island, I have a large area that's just pathing and cars. For some reason, it feels like empty in a weird way. It doesn't feel like there's enough going on, but honestly, in a city, it would be a parking lot or maybe a park, just spitballing ideas here. I have my little mood board of all of my signage from walking through American Village, and I love it so much. Maybe I should have a Lawson station just to give that extra Japanese flair. I love some of the more traditional signs and Japanese lettering combined with actually a lot of English, which I think would be appropriate for a tropical resort destination area that you're going to that has a lot of touristy kind of vibes too. So man, I can't believe that I found that area, and I don't know. It's so weird that I made some of the mood boards before I even saw American Village. It's like I literally knew that a place like that existed before I saw it. I mean, talking about doll houses, I really feel like Animal Crossing is the ultimate like digital doll house. Like you're literally creating an environment from scratch completely detailed. And I love it so much. I can't wait to get into dollhouses. I don't know. Can you guys tell? I can't wait to get into dollhouses. Are you surprised? Absolute shock and horror. Horror. Horror is such a weird word. Shock and horror. 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 Anyways, I have a Kallax shelf from IKEA, and I've been thinking, what if I were to put like little doors on it? Like attach little doors with hinges and do little dollhouse exteriors onto the front of the Kallax. And then I could have probably 2 levels of a dollhouse in one shelf of a Kallax. It could be pretty fun. And then I think I could have even like a removable, it would be maybe a removable cube that I would build into the Kallax so that behind it I could have more storage for things. I got big plans in the dollhouse world. I made it back into the foresty area of my island again, and I'm using these flower umbrella custom designs to add some whimsy. I love these oversized flowers to add a little bit more dimension. They feel like Alice in Wonderland-y. I think that they actually were created for an Alice in Wonder. Oh my God, why can't I speak? I think they were created for an Alice in Wonderland theme on an island, so that kind of makes sense. But just having these oversized flowers makes it feel so cute. And I do end up using a little strawberry bush as well. It's actually pretty fun to have a video like this where I'm just running around. This is literally the way that I would decorate an island if I didn't have a YouTube channel. I would literally run to various areas all over the island, decorating one item at a time, or being like, oh yeah, if I'm using this here, I could also use this over here, and then run to the other side of the island and, you know, add that one singular item in and then run back to the area that I was working on before. Not exactly conducive for making cohesive videos, but kind of fun for when I'm just chatting over it. Ooh, I have a question for anybody who's made it this far into the video. A question that I would like you to answer in the comments to prove you've made it to the almost hour mark of watching this video or listening to it, whatever you are up to today. I'm wondering what your favorite board game is. What is your favorite board game of all times? If you're into board games, if you're not, cool, but everybody played board games, I think, when they were a little kid. I would hope so. They're very fun. My favorite is Katana, and I have only played it like 4 times, which is crazy, but it is honestly my favorite. I find it so fun with the strategy that you need to play it. It's one of those games that even if you don't win, it's still fun to play. I still enjoy the whole function of playing it. I would say runner up to that is actually Risk. I love Risk. Nobody wants to play these games with me. Like, let me just tell you right now, nobody wants to play Katana and Risk in my daily life. They're long ass games. They're games that you have to sit down and be prepared to play for hours on end. And I love that energy. Maybe in the future I can find some group of people who would want to play Katana with me for hours on end. That would be so fun. But I am curious what your favorite games are. I also really like a good card game. Like Skip Boo and Dutch Blitz are so much fun. I love Dutch Blitz. It for just like a party game, for like the energy of it. Sequence is really fun. Sequence is really fun, and it's also one that you can play multiple rounds of, and it's pretty easy to teach somebody to play Sequence. So that is my go-to for like an easy-ish board game that doesn't take a lot of buy-in. Like, you're not gonna say, oh, you're gonna need to lock in for 4 hours to play this game with me. I feel like I'm revealing my entire personality in this video. If you've never watched a video from me before, you're pretty much getting my entire self encapsulated into this video. Let's talk about one more thing that I've gotten into in the past week that's bringing me joy, and that is RuPaul's Drag Race. We're not going to talk too much about that. I am Team Anya. But in the vein of reality television shows that require some creativity, I want to talk to you about Project Runway. Project Runway is my original first love of reality television, being like, oh, creativity can actually be a part of reality television. And I did watch a whole lot of Survivor as a child with my family, but Project Runway was one that was mine. Like, I loved the creativity of it. Rewatching, I was able to find the second season online to watch, and it has 20 seasons, I believe, which is crazy. But I forgot how brutal, the absolute brutality of a 90s, early 2000s reality television show is unmatched. The way that they were just so hypercritical of every person, you could not get away with anything. If you made a small mistake, if you were overly emotional in the judging, there was no mercy. There was absolutely no mercy to be had. Maybe part of that is that now we have social media, so the pushback on anything in an episode could be immediate. Like, if people don't agree with the judging, they can let you know the next day after seeing the episode. Whereas before, it would be like, they'd have to interview people on the street to be like, what did you think about this? Or you'd have to talk with your friends in real life. It wouldn't just be like this thing that would be a cultural zeitgeist of, I can't believe this one person was eliminated from Project Runway, or I can't believe they included this contestant in this season. Anyway, so I watched the first episode, which the first episode of season 2, at least the version that I watched, was so crazy. It was so long. It was like an hour and a half long for the first episode of this show. And at one point, there was a guy literally crying on stage because he had to cut up like one of his favorite jackets for the challenge. They had to use the clothes off their own back, and he had just started his own clothing company that had failed, and he had just had to close down his baby, like his shop that he had spent so much time opening. And this jacket was one of the jackets that he had from that shop. It was like one of the last things he kept from the shop. And like, they were like, you can only use the clothes on your back right now for this challenge. Cut up that jacket. And the lady who went home, who ended up going home, refused to cut up an antique scarf that her grandma had passed down to her mom and had passed down to her. And she was like, I'm not cutting up this family heirloom. And they were like, well, you're going home. Like, isn't that the mentality that goes into that is absolutely wild. But oh yeah, this guy was crying on the show because he was going to have to cut up this jacket that he loved. And the one judge literally says, I don't see how this is relevant to me. Why do I need to know this? Oh my God. I was like, oh, what? Mouth agape. Imagine someone crying in front of you that the challenge was really hard and they had to give up a piece of themselves. And you're like, how is this relevant? And Heidi Klum is even like, I don't know if he was trying to manipulate me. But I do love the fact that the person who went home was like, oh no, that was a different challenge. But there was another person who went home, and when Heidi says, Avita Sane, she's like, I don't know what that even means. Like, I don't know what that even means is hilarious to say to Heidi Klum on Project Runway when she says Avita Sane. It's not rocket science to figure out what she means by that. Have you watched the show before? Anyways, I then moved on in my finishing up the island pursuits to villager homes, and we had to do Teddy's home and Pecan's home. So I started with Pecan. This is how her house looked at the beginning, and then this is what her house looked like at the end. I made it into a cozy little alchemist shop. She does run the elixir shop down by the beach, and this is where she takes private consultations. Right now, Nook is having some trouble in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, he can't. He's not as regular a raccoon as he used to be. He needs a little tincture to get himself regular again. He's backed up. He's a backed up raccoon. Don't you fret, Tom. Pecan's got it figured out. She'll get you moving in no time, buddy. But it's a delicate situation. We understand, Tom. You had to make a house call for this one. You can't just phone this in or get caught buying laxatives at the elixir shop. Next, I was working on Teddy's house. He is our woodsman of the island. This is how his house looked at first, which is okay. But I like this version a little bit more. It feels a little more lived in and foresty, in my opinion. On the inside, his house already had kind of a cabin vibe, but I wanted his house to feel more like an actual person who lives in the woods, if that makes any sense. Have you ever been to like a rundown kind of cottage? This is the kind of vibe that I get from every cottage that I've ever been at. Rugs on like a cold tile floor, a very thrown together little kitchen with a mini fridge and a microwave. I love the wood fireplace with this single just like log sofa. I don't know why that living room gives me everything that I need from this kind of an environment. I just picture it like this bachelor guy living out in the woods. He made a cabin and he has some like decorative things in his house that he either handcrafted himself or passed down from like his grandparents or something like that. Anyways, I'm obsessed with how his house in particular turned out. And then I went down to this little area where there is an unfinished beach, but this beach is going to be blocked off. So all I needed to do in this area is just fill it up with items so that it would not be passable. Like you couldn't get through there to the beach, and it would just act as filler space for the build in front, because I do want people to jump across that little river so that they can take a picture from the other side. It does make a nice little picture because you can include the little waterfall and everything. So just a little jump across and that's it. Then you're blocked from access to this beach. So I still wanted it to look nice and full in a foresty way, because you will have camera angles where you can see past this little area, but I wanted it to feel filled in, completed everything. Nobody needs to know about this secret hidden beach, even more secret than Red's beach, which now that I'm thinking of it, I forgot to block that area off fully. Dang it, and I already posted the dream address. No. Oh well, there is a slightly unfinished area near the back. It's almost fit. Like you have to sidestep to get back there. People would have to be determined to get back to the secret beach. There's nothing going on back there. Anyways, this beach is even more secret than the secret beach. The real secret beach is the flower beach that I did not care to remove. I just stopped to have a little coffee break, and I also had some leftover pizza for lunch, which was delicious. And in my desire to watch something while I had my little coffee break, I just checked my coffee mug, hoping that there was a little bit left, but it's gone. I finished it. Doechii just released the music video for Anxiety, and I am obsessed. She had so many good references in it. I love the reference to Goche's original Somebody I Used to Know music video. It was so perfect. I loved how the scene repeated over and over again, and the reference to, oh my God, I just got goosebumps. The reference to the first version of Anxiety, her singing it alone in her room, and then like the window breaking at the end. I have chills all over my body. I am so obsessed with Doechii. I think she's such an artist. Like, I am here for the Doechii era. I love that album. I've had that album on repeat for a long time. Every time I think, oh, I'd like to listen to a different piece of music today, I'm like, why would I do that to myself when I know that I could listen to Alligator Bites Never Heal and feel whole as a person? But I go through phases with albums specifically. Like I had a whole Beyonce Renaissance phase that lasted a very long time. And then after that, it was Queen Herbie, Alchemist. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. And then now it's Doechii, Alligator Bites Never Heal. That just could be on repeat perpetually, and I would be happy with that. The choreography at the end, I'm not sure if that is the choreography from this dance troupe that also did a full choreography for Somebody That I Used to Know, that I also watched like 17 times when I first found it. I really love that song. That song came out when I was in college, and it made the rounds in a big way when I was in college. So I just have a soft spot for that song. Maybe people don't like that the entire background music for that song is from somebody that I used to know, but I think it's really cool. I love sampling. I love when people are just like, no, I love this beat. I'm going to sample it fully and make it my own. I love that. And I love Doechii. She's so cool and wicked smart. She's wicked smart. The references are on point, and I was living for it. I need to watch it about 17,000 more times. Also, that white bralette, the balconette bra thing, so classic, so beautiful. It just feels like a panic attack. It's so beautiful. The video feels like a panic attack, but I mean, the song's called Anxiety, and it gives that vibe 100%. I just rewatched the choreography video that I mentioned earlier with on in the background Doechii's version, Anxiety, and the combo is actually crazy because that song in and of itself kind of has this like unsettling vibe, and the way that they've choreographed that video in particular has an unsettling vibe, and then Doechii's lyrics just add another level of unsettling. And man, it's stuff like that that you really feel like the human experience reflected back to you in somebody else's art. And that's what I like about art, is that it actually makes you reflect on your humanity and the things that matter to you, and like the emotions that you experience on a daily basis. I feel like that is something that is unique to Doechii though, as well, is her ability to transfer a very human emotion, a very like human experience in a lot of her songs, something that you've just like felt inside. And she's not even saying, oh, here it is exactly like one to one. It's she's creating like a poem about that feeling. And even like Denial is a River, that one is crazy because it's just her telling the audience about a time in her life that was stressful or uncomfortable, and being like her just saying all of the things she loves about like drugs and Hollywood and like party all the time, and then she's like, my self-worth's on an all-time low. Like, just that alone is so poignant and beautiful. Again, things like anxiety or your self-worth being at an all-time low seem not like the kind of thing that you should say, oh, that's beautiful. But I think it's validating as an anxious person and a person who has struggled with my own self-worth to hear somebody else actually talking about it in a way that I find more relatable. Not just griping about it or, you know, victim mode mentality. You know what I mean? It's not her putting herself in the position of this like victim. It's just her expressing the feeling of having those emotions and what it actually feels like as a human being to have those emotions. And the feeling of having an artist articulate what you can't quite express inside of your own self. Isn't that the whole purpose of art in general, is to give words or give emotion and intention and thought towards things that are innately human that the average person doesn't really identify in themselves or can't really articulate perfectly. And then seeing an artist rendition or reading a book where the characters experience something similar to you, and it allows you to reflect on your own life's journey, or listening to a song like Anxiety that brings validation to a feeling that you've had for a long time, but didn't feel like you could fully express to somebody, like they would understand what you're talking about. As a person who struggles with being incredibly vague and having extremely vague examples for what I'm talking about, I appreciate an artist's perspective, because artists of all kinds, the main thing, like even comedians, especially comedians, the main distinction with somebody who's creating something out of a feeling is that they've spent time thinking about it. Like anybody who's put effort towards thinking on a certain topic and really deciding what they're going to articulate about it, that's cool to me. Like I can tell that, you know, a comedian who's talking about a funny time that they experienced something isn't this isn't the first time that they've told that story, but they found the humanity in it, the not just the relatable moment to it, but they found the actual crux of why, as a human, that feels so real to us. And that only takes time. Really great art is something that you can feel the intention behind. And it's actually crazy that Dochi developed that song so long ago and that it still has so much relevance, and she still continued to work on it and turn it into an actual project, an actual finished piece with a music video and everything. I feel like that's what she wanted to do when she created the song way back when, but she couldn't have even seen that it would be thought through to that point, you know? Like, she couldn't have seen ahead to say, oh, in a few years' time, I'll make that into a music video. Like, she was just doing it for the sake of her own thought process. And I know she talks about journaling a lot, which I find really interesting. And you can tell that a lot of these thoughts for her songs have come out of those moments of self-reflection, which is really cool. As for Fable, we are working on a little star fragment farm. And I think it's cute to have this by the elixir shop and also by the pub. It's just a little star fragment garden, which I didn't actually use as many star fragments throughout this island as I was thinking that I would. The glowing moss is really a lot more foresty and a lot more fantastical feeling for me. I didn't do a whole lot with design codes or extra items in this area. I just kind of left it simple so that the beach could breathe around it. But I did want to fill in this area between the pub and the mushroom farm as well. And this is actually the second last build that we have for today. I only have one little peninsula and beach area left after this, which when I was doing this, I kept thinking, oh, there are more areas that I've forgotten. Well, clearly I forgot the area by the secret beach, which is unfortunate. And I can't believe I just remembered that as I was recording this voiceover. But yeah, when I was decorating, I kept thinking, oh, there's more areas that I need to get to. I'm just going to pick away at them as I can. And like over time, I'll finish the island, hopefully in the next couple of sittings or whatever. And then after I finished the next build, the peninsula and beach area on the left-hand side of my island by Agnes's house, I was like, oh, is it done? Oh my God, it's done. I think I have to do the dream address now, which was so like unsettling because I had spent so much time working on this recording of finishing off these final details on Fable. I was just in that mode. So I took like a good hour break just looking at my island and running around in circles being like, is there anything else left here that I have to do? Couldn't find a single other thing that I had to do, and just decided to post the dream address, like to publish it out. I'm not going to be sharing it with you today because I still want to do our Goldie Branch Island visit. So we'll be doing that next Monday. My hope is that this video is going out on the 18th of April. That's a Friday. So tomorrow on the Saturday stream, we will be doing something completely unrelated to Fable, probably some work on granola. And then on Monday, we'll have the island party, and hopefully I'll be able to edit the final tour of Fable and publish that next Friday. And then next week on Saturday, we'll be restarting Fable, which is crazy to think about, but I'm really excited. So next Saturday, we should be ready to restart. I just found out that Flip's catchphrase is see no donut, hear no donut, speak no donut. That's so funny. And can I just fangirl a little bit more for 1 second? Chapel Roan's look on Les Culturistas has me in a chokehold. Her hair is so beautiful. Is all of that her real hair? If so, I'm absolutely stunned. The color of the hair in general is absolute perfection. I don't know exactly what's happening internally with the structure of the hair on the top, but she had some little spiky bits that were kind of like poking out of the top. I'm obsessed. This is the ethereal kind of medieval princess, fairy princess energy that I need. Also, her being a Pisces feels so real to me. I feel validated. I don't know. Maybe art is just healing me or some shit. I don't know, guys. What's wrong with me? Am I right? What's wrong with me? I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan of these pop girlies out here making their mark and looking beautiful as they do it. I'm here for the girls. One thing I've noticed, and Chapel Roan in that interview actually was wearing like flesh toned gloves. And I've noticed a lot more people doing that, like drag queens, etc., wearing flesh toned gloves that come up above the elbow. It's kind of an interesting look. It kind of looks sometimes like it's a little bit more yellow or a little bit of a deeper tone than the actual skin tone. But it always seems kind of funny to wear gloves that are almost, it's like wearing nylons on your hands. And I think I like it, but it's weird. I will admit, it's strange, but I kind of like it. I have too many interests right now. I have too many thoughts swirling around in my head. Dochi's in there, dollhouses are in there in a big way, grandma core, coalescing with the next theme for this island. Not this island, the next theme that I'm going to be doing on the channel, coalescing with many other thoughts, and all the time just dollhouse furniture and dollhouse printables just going around in a swarming circle. But I think with creativity, there is a moment where you have to like, I don't know, this sounds so over the top deep, but if you're still here listening to this video right now, you're here for the deep. You're here for all of my crazy ramblings apparently, and I really appreciate you for it. But I think in creativity there's a moment of like it's like breathing. You have to inhale and then exhale. You have to take in ideas and inspiration and like creative energy in order to be able to interpret that and figure out what your own response to it is, and then be creative on the exhale, right? And it's not like I'm creating anything crazy revolutionary, just Animal Crossing islands. But I am thinking about writing a novel on the side as well, because I do love reading. And I've already started creating the whole world. I downloaded the app Scrivener onto my computer. I haven't done the full purchase, but I have been using the free trial and I'm really enjoying it. And I just feel like I'm taking in a lot of creative inspiration right now from Chapel Ronan Dochi, from the whole like dollhouse, everything of it, from all these cozy grandma core, comfy interiors that I've been looking at a lot of like home tours, apartment tours, people decorating. And it's very interesting to see how different people decorate their home in a way that feels fully comfortable to them. I just watched Lenny Kravitz's tour for Architectural Digest the other day. And at first I was like, I hate this house. It's so empty. It's so just like black and white. Like, what is going on here? It feels like an evil villain's mansion. And as he was explaining his intentions behind each of the pieces that he brought into this home, I was like, damn, actually, now I love this. Now I can see his personality in this and the meaning behind everything that he's put into his home. And I think it's actually legitimately beautiful. And the way that he collects art is so cool too. And then at the end, of course, when he said like Zoe will pick it up, like his daughter will carry the torch of this home and make it into what she wants it to be in the future. Okay, I was sold. All right, I was sold. You give me nostalgia. You give me like that connection back to like ancestry and then to the future generations. And I think that's so cute and so special. And I loved it. And we finally made it to the final build on Fable. The big kahuna that I have literally been avoiding, because when you're at Agnes's house, Little Witch's hut, which is directly to the right of that beach up ahead, when you tilt your camera even slightly, or even as you're running past, you see the giant gap that is this expanse of beach. And all I really essentially wanted to do in this area is just fill it in with greenery. I planted some more of the palm trees, and then I also put in mush parasols and pine trees and even a pergola down the beach, just so that when you tilt the camera to the side, you just see greenery, and it feels more like the witch is actually in the center of the forest instead of right beside a beach. She doesn't need a beachfront property. Agnes wants to be deep into a forest. So we're just going to pretend like that beach is just forest, and that's fine. But the end really snuck up on me fast on this island. I don't know why it snuck up on me. Like, clearly I had been working on this island for a little while to this point in this day. But somehow, before I knew it, it was there. Back to calico critters, because we haven't spent enough time not talking about calico critters in this video. What are my top calico critter families that I would like to get when I first get these guys? I think primarily I need the chipmunk family. 100%. Oh no, it's not chipmunks. Oh my gosh. They're actually called walnut squirrel family. I need the walnut squirrel family. I think I need the hedgehog family. They're just so cute. Chocolate rabbit family is an absolute must have. I love the striped cat family. The tuxedo cat family is adorable. The sheep family like warms my heart to no end. I think those are my top picks. And I think the next thing that I would do after I had like just a couple families is I'd give them like a theme, and then I'd make them a little house in my Kallax. Like, I don't know, I would probably want to buy an actual Calico Critters dollhouse as well. But I think it would be even more fun, honestly, to just collect their furniture and make my own little dollhouse unit that I could fit directly into my Kallax, because then I can always get more Kallax and like make it work, like, and not have the dollhouse that's getting dusty. Like, I could close the front of the door on the Kallax, and then it would just be behind these little cutesy dollhouse doors, and that you open it and that's where the Calico Critters collection would be. I don't know if it makes more sense in my head, but I think it'd be cute. A quick Google search has shown me that this is actually a thing, that a lot of people make dollhouses like for their kids, but I'm seeing it more often as like a Barbie thing, and Barbies are like twice the height, maybe even 2/3 taller than a calico critter. So I think I would, like I said before, make it into like a 2-level little home inside of each of the boxes of the Kallax. I think after recording this voiceover, I'm just not going to speak for the next like 10 hours. I think I need to put in a moratorium on speaking at all for a good long time, because I'm talking myself out right now. I recorded this voiceover actually over the course of 2 days. And as I was saying yesterday, how I get to about 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my brain just starts to say, night, night, I'm done with working now. Goodbye. So weird. I get so much done in the morning. It's not even funny. I wish that I could have that amount of productivity continue into the afternoon. Wouldn't that be a blessing and a miracle? Yes. But what time is it right now? It is 1:22, and I can feel it. It started. The tap out has already begun in my brain, and I'm trying to keep it on. I'm trying to keep it on point. Keep on going. You can do this, Taya. You can do a voiceover. You can complete this 1 hour and 38-minute long recording worth of voiceover right now. You're at 2 hours. No, you're at 1 hour and 22 minutes into recording your own voice. And that's why for a video of this length, I typically allocate like 4 days at least for the voiceover portion, because I will run out of things to say. And that's what I did on my like totally tearing Glenny down and rebuilding it video. But here we had 2 days. We're kind of on a time crunch because I want to be able to restart the island, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that. And I also realized like next week is going to be a little bit busy too, because I have to record the final tour, and editing a final tour is always a little bit of a thing. So I'm excited. I want to be able to have time also to take proper photos of Fable in all different lighting. Although the time for the dream address, I had it set aside for like, I think within the first week of starting Fable, I found the day and the time that I wanted to post it at. Maybe that was just me actually paying attention to the weather and what time I wanted Fable to be published at. But yeah, when I found the day, which is November 29th at 5:20 p.m., the weather is so perfect. The weather is like foggy. It's kind of golden hour, but something about golden hour on that day on this island has like a bluish tone to it, which kind of gives it this foggy, atmospheric, mysterious vibe. Which, when I first saw the island in that light, I was like, that is it. That is the time. It's very funny because with these coconut trees that I planted here on the beach, I needed to go ahead 4 days. And it's November 25th on the island right now. So when I went ahead 4 days, I was like, oh, I'm on the perfect day that I wanted to post the dream address. And all that I had to do after I got to that day was just clean up all the beaches and then organize like what outfit is my player character wearing and what outfit do I want to leave aside for people who are dreaming of Fable? And then whatever props I wanted to leave. And I did leave quite a few props. So at the front of the island, I do take some time at the end of this video to prepare all of that, all part of publishing a dream address. I don't know if it's out of fashion to drop a whole bunch of stuff at the entrance. Sometimes I find it annoying when there's like just an excess of stuff that you have to pick up, but I mean, you can't bring anything with you into the dream. So if you want to take cute pictures, which I love to do on an island, especially in a dream, because I'm probably only going to visit one time in a dream. So having a good amount of stuff to play around with, a good amount of props is always lovely. But why is that? That at this exact time of day, my brain just decides to stop or just decides like, hey, I'm done sitting at this desk and working on stuff in this way. Like, I want to do something physical with my body. I want to go clean something. I want to go take a shower or, you know, just get out of the house for a little bit. Today is actually a holiday Friday. So that first option is not available to me. I mean, I guess I could go to a park or something. And I've been talking about picnicking for like a year, more than a year, and tell me why I still have never gone on a picnic. That feels sad to me. Oh my God, you know what I should do today, this afternoon, is I should finally jailbreak my Kindle. That would be fun. Oh my God. Once I finish and I get this video out, I am going to go and do that because I'm really excited about it. I learned about more stuff because of the video that I posted. One person commented who's an actual librarian and was like, they're trying to actually get it outlawed what they're doing on the Kindle because it's essentially just borrowing. Like, you're not actually buying the books when you buy them on Kindle because they could just take them away at any time. Essentially, it's just paying to borrow books, which is, you shouldn't have to do that because you're buying them so you can have them. Anyways, that is something that I need to do that I've been talking about now for a week. It's funny that to hear yourself talk about something for a second week in a row, I'm like, okay, clearly I need to take care of that because it's something that's on my mind. And after I finished this beach, I went over around to Agnes's house and I pulled out the camera to see how the beach would look. And already just running through, you can see some of those palm trees. But then when you raise the camera up and look towards the beach, it kind of does camouflage. And when there's more palm trees there, it looks even better. But as I did that, I noticed this little tiny stinking area behind Maggie's house that doesn't have anything in it. I just filled it in with glowing moss and then I put a little star clock as well to add some more interest. But this is another little tiny butsy area that I just forgot about entirely. Do you have areas like this on your island? Are you diligent in finishing up these little tiny areas that are just outside a frame, or do you wait until the end? I think this is the most little areas like that on an island that I've ever left to the end. I just built and built and built without thinking, oh, yeah, but if I twist the camera slightly to the side, you're not going to have anything to look at over there. It's just going to look like empty. And I think that I've kind of in my own brain shat upon people who kind of just spam weeds and things into a little area that you don't see very often. And I'm not sure why. It looks great. Hey, it's a forest island. We're time traveling 4 days. And this is when I noticed that I've been working on the 25th for a while. And I perfectly lined up the days so that I'm growing those in 4 days. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. So I time traveled, and guess what other perfect coincidence happened? There was a campsite villager staying today, and the campsite villager is perfect for this island. I'm so excited for you to see. Look at the campsite villager I got. Curly, our third little pig. We have Agnes and we have Maggie on the island, and now in the campsite, it just worked out perfectly. Like that, we have Curly. Honestly, it was perfect. Literally perfect. And I actually really like Curly, so that's super funny. Our 11th villager, everybody. It's so stupid how on the dream address you can't go into the campsite. I think that that'd be so cute if you could go into the tent and just like see who's in there, because I feel like that would be an extra little detail. Like, who did they put in the campsite? So now I'm going through to change my own outfit, and this is the way that I've been doing it for a little while now. I change my player character's outfit, and then I take it off and keep it in my pocket so that I don't reuse the same clothing, because you can't go to sleep in a wand outfit, which is kind of strange. I wanted this to feel very like grandma is a witch vibe. So it took me a second to figure out what outfit I exactly wanted, what dress I wanted to give her. And when I found this one, which is literally Forest Witch, that's what the name of this outfit is, I'm obsessed with it. I think it's perfect for our grandma. Creepy grandma in the woods core. I'll never stop saying core. I think it's a cute way to describe an aesthetic that you want. Me core. Actually, I think that's my favorite one. So here's me taking off all of the clothes that I chose out for my player character and moving them to a different area of my pockets so that I have them isolated and I don't accidentally wrap them up. And now I'm deciding on my main outfit that I would like to leave behind for people to play with when they come to Fable. I'm going with a classic. I honestly think this little modest, what is it called? A frugal dress. These little frugal dresses. The other one that I did was actually just the frugal outfit and a little vine crown. So whether you want to have the more gender neutral option or you want to have a dress when you're visiting Fable, there are a couple options, but the accessories are basically the same between the two. So you can have a different hat if you want, but I did leave out a vine crown if you don't want the witch's hat. And originally I thought I wanted to use the brown frugal outfit. But I think because all of the other accents that I've provided for this character are brown, having a matching frugal outfit for both, having them both be green is kind of like, that's the island's uniform. And once I had those all picked out, I did wrap them. I wrapped the gender neutral option in like a blue wrapping paper so that it would be a little bit differentiated. If you didn't want those two items, you'd be able to select them. But yeah, after putting the outfit together with all the accessories, I think the green one looks a little bit better as a whole. I love it so much. I think it's so freaking cute. I actually really enjoy this part of preparing the dream address. It feels like I'm setting up a little playtime for somebody else. Like, who's gonna visit? They need their little like outfit all put together. And I realized that all of my little props were not able to be wrapped except for the tambourine. So I'm leaving all of the props unwrapped. Oh, I decided to do the dress outfit in blue. So the dress outfit is in blue And then the frugal outfit, just the frugal outfit, is in black wrapping paper. I think it's so cute. And oh yeah, there you can see the vegetable stand that just appeared out of nowhere. I really love the vegetable stand. It's so cute. I love Animal Crossing. And I know I like downplay it as a creative outlet. It sounds so stupid to be like, Animal Crossing is my canvas. But no, truly, I'm creating a whole little world here, a whole little fantasy world in Animal Crossing. And I think that is the difference between this game and a lot of other games in a similar vein, is that I'm actually like creating a whole entire world here. And this is a little bit closer to the time. I thought that it would take me like a full half hour to get all the shells off the beach and do the final preparations for the dream address, but it honestly didn't take me that long to go around and gather all the shells off the beach. And once I had done that, I could just time travel forward. So I thought originally, I was like, oh, the weather's kind of nice at this point, closer to like 4:30. And for a second there, I thought, oh, I'll just post the dream address at this time. But just you wait. In about an hour from this time, it gets even better. The colors warm up, but it also gets more blue. It feels more foggy somehow. I couldn't actually believe that it was all done at this point. I just kind of stood at the entrance for a little while, being like, it's really done, isn't it? That's crazy. Look at the weather at this time. It's so good. Like, it's dark, but it's not nighttime. It's golden hour, which normally I don't go for golden hour, but man, this is the second island I think that I've posted. Saguaro was also at golden hour, so maybe I just don't like decorating at golden hour, but I do like this time. And so I just went out and checked the island briefly to make sure, like, is this the time that I want to post it? I decided absolutely yes. And I went to sleep, which I didn't realize this was the first time that I've actually gone to sleep on Fable. So Luna wasn't even there. She was just like off camera. And I kind of love that moment when she just like walks in. You're just laying there on the bed by yourself and she's like, doop a doop a doop, in I come. She's so cute. But I also find the background of her character to be a little bit frightening. She's actually based off of, I think it's Japanese lore of a dream eater. You can look more into like Luna's background if you're interested, but it's kind of creepy. Oh my god, we uploaded Fable. I can't believe it's done. And you don't get a peek. You don't get a peek at the dream address. Actually, maybe you did get a peek. Does it show it in that screenshot that I took? No, it doesn't. It doesn't show it. I went back. And I'm so happy with how it came out. I can't wait to do the final tour and to take all of the cute pictures around this island and to have an island party with the Goldie branches. I can't believe that I managed to talk for an hour and 38 minutes for this whole voiceover. It's actually astounding. I can't believe that my lungs are not dead, that I'm not gasping for breath after talking that long. Did you guys learn about calico critters? Did you guys learn about my aesthetic preferences currently for grandma core or anything related to that? I hope you posted your favorite board game. And here is Fable. Oh my god, I love it so much. You don't understand. I'm so glad to have this island finished, but I truly enjoyed building on this island with all of you. I'm really excited to build on the next island. So much channel growth happened during the development of this island. It brings me so much joy. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.